Without change, something sleeps inside us. The sleeper must awaken.
Hello and welcome back to another We Ourselves video. And today I want to talk about the Thunderbolts movie and how Marvel is showing its true colors yet again. Now, as I begin talking about this Thunderbolt movie and how I believe Marvel is showing its true colors again, I just want to say that this is not a review of the movie. I will do a separate video and review the movie. That being said, some of the things that I say in here may be considered spoilers, and if you would rather watch the movie first, then go and watch the movie and then come back and do this video. With that out of the way, let's go forward. I went to see Thunderbolts this weekend, and as I sat there in the theater watching this movie, two things occurred to me. And so as I watched the emotional and very well acted and well done scenes between Red Guardian and Yelena, played by Florence Pugh and David Harbour, I started to think, and I started to shake my head and laugh. Not at their performances. They are good. They have really settled into these characters, and I like them. It wasn't their performance. It's what their performance and what was written for them is what that meant, or what it didn't mean for the black characters of the MCU. And so I'm watching Yelena's character go through yet again more new flashbacks to her past. She has no less than 2 or 3 conversations, one of which being the most emotional with her father, the Red Guardian. And that's not revealing anything because you see it in the trailers. And so as I'm sitting there and looking at this, I'm immediately reminded of how the MCU has consistently undermined its black characters. And the first thing that occurred to me, as I said, it occurred to me as I'm watching the flashbacks. They are riveting. They are emotional. They go further to explain not only where Yelena came from and her background and what made her who she is, showing that the multiple instances of trauma in her life have had a profound effect on her, but it also explains her current mood. It explains her emotional point of view at the start of the movie. In fact, all of these characters, including John Walker, in some way they talk about their past. Because as people have noted, this movie is about depression, pure and simple. Now, whether you meant to go and see a Marvel movie of anti-heroes and you thought it was going to be a 2-hour-long presentation of emotional well-being and depression, that's another story. And I can understand why it might not appeal to a lot of fans. The only person who really did not explore their background was Ghost. But even then, she's come a long way, and she's actually likable as a part of the team. So I will give Marvel and MCU credit for that. And Red Guardian and Yelena talking about their past, looking at old pictures, talking about Tasha, and also revealing where the name for the group, the Thunderbolts, came from. It is connected to their past. So he talks about his past because she goes to her father figure and asks, when were you happy? When was your proudest moment? So he talks about his past. And we do see a flashback of him being Red Guardian and being proud and defending his country. And even Sentry, the new character, we go into his past, which is very reminiscent of Moon Knight's background in the Disney Plus show. Both of these men had a physically abusive parent. And so, as I said, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, why the hell have we never gotten a flashback for Sam Wilson? Not one damn flashback. The most they gave us for Sam Wilson was a picture of his former wingmate, and we got that all the way back when he was introduced in Captain America: Winter Soldier. But he's had his own show. He's been elevated to the leader of the not new Avengers because, spoiler, that's what the Thunderbolts are eventually called. But he is the leader of the next Avengers team, however it's constituted, and they actually address that in the movie. He's had his own solo movie as Captain America. Sam Wilson has had his own movie as Captain America. But in all of that, they never, ever, ever have given us a flashback for Sam Wilson. They have never used a flashback to explain anything about his emotional mood, what his emotional state is, what he plans, what he expects for his future, what he feels about his current situation. Nothing. It's as if the MCU black characters don't have souls. It's as if the MCU black characters don't have lives. It's as if the MCU's black characters don't have emotions like everybody else and don't have feelings. That the black characters in the MCU, they just walk around like cardboard cutout characters that are used for whatever is needed at the moment. And as I'm watching the Thunderbolts and the use of flashbacks, new ones for a character that has already been established, by the way, and flashbacks for a brand new character, this is what goes through my mind. What it says to me is that the standard MCU formula is to give its lead characters flashbacks. But yet, when it comes to the black MCU characters, male and female, even the ones that are now been promoted to the A-list, they get nothing. Now, the only exception to this lack of writing black characters were T'Challa and Shuri. But unfortunately, with Chadwick Boseman's passing away, this franchise descended into the mess that they have now, where they bring in all the negative stereotypes and tropes for black families. As I said, Marvel continues to show its true colors. And you can't say that that was in the past. We just had Captain America, Brave New World, not one flashback for Sam to help us understand or to deepen our understanding of that character. And now here we are, a movie that was done after Brave New World, and we're treated to the normal MCU process for its lead characters. If they can do that, if they can make an entire movie which is basically an ad for mental health services, then it shows how much they have let down the black characters in the MCU by not giving them any true emotional depth. And the second thing that I want to say about the MCU showing its true colors is the fact that you have family dynamics with Yelena yet again. We were already introduced to her father and her relationship with her father, her sister, and her mom, or the people that were playing her mom and dad. There was a clear family dynamic in Black Widow. And again, they are demonstrating that this is the standard MCU practice when it comes to its female characters in particular. They get advice from their dads, both the white characters and the other characters of color, just not the black women. Why is it that when it comes to exploring the family dynamic, particularly with the black females, the writers in the MCU can't do it, or they are not allowed to do it, or they are told not to do it? It is too consistent to be an error. It is consistent to the point that it is part of the process. And even when you've already done it for the white female characters, you do it yet again, and you do it well. I'm not complaining that Yelena talked to her dad. It was beautiful. David Harbour and Elizabeth Pugh, they know these characters. As I've said, they are comfortable with these characters, and they are taking these characters through their emotional changes and to the next level in their character story arcs. They're great. I'm not complaining that we get that as part of the movie, and it's the heart of the movie. In fact, that is my point. And at the end of the day, as I'm watching the movie, I can appreciate what I'm seeing on the screen. But at the same time, there's a part of me in the back of my mind that's like saying, here we go again. They are proving that the writers are talented and that they know how to write these characters. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say about the Thunderbolts and my thought processes as I watched the movie. I know that a lot of people have gotten off the MCU train partly because of this very thing. But I think it's important to continue pointing out the unequal treatment and the sustaining of a negative stereotype about the black community that the MCU has made part of their process. It has normalized the process of excluding black families and in particular, black fathers. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. As always, like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you in the next video.
The sleeper has awakened!